movie tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And that was the start of it.
Wow. Well, that's actually in that movie. They have one of the most amazing shower scenes in shower scene history because Amy Holden Jones, who is the director, she knew what she was doing, right? Because here's the secret: only one bar of soap, and the camera follows the bar of soap as it goes from one girl to the next.
We had a famous bar of soap in Nightmare Sisters, the bathtub scene, where the scene took so long to shoot. I mean, they just kept running the camera. It must have gone on for half an hour. And our bar of soap got smaller and smaller, and we were using it as a prop to wash each other. And eventually there was no soap left, and we're like, oh hell, what do we do now? We're out of our prop.
All right, but before you even started making those movies, you had many modeling jobs. You had, oh, is this true, over 100 extra roles?
Yeah, they called me Don't Link Brink because I was an extra in so many films. Like I'm in Surf 2, I'm one of the class kids, but you have to almost freeze frame it to see me.
Yeah.
So.
Where'd you get that drive to go do 100 extra parts?
It was a way to make money when I was here looking for a science job. So I'm like, well,
okay.
I'll just keep doing acting until somebody says, hey, you're not a real actress, get out of here.
Okay.
But nobody ever said that, so I stayed in it.
And you worked with all the great low-budget directors of the 80s, Fred Olen Ray, Dave Dakota, Jim Wynorski, and then you became one yourself when you directed Sorority Babes in the Slam Ball Bowl-O-Rama 2.
Woo!
Yeah.
Charlie Band called me up one night and he said, I'm going to remix Sorority Babes. And I said, well, why are you telling me this? I died in the first movie. And he said, no, I want you to direct it. So that was great. He gave me a shot at it. I went to Cleveland, Ohio. The unfortunate thing is we only had 6 days to make the movie and about $100. And it was just really, really hard. But in spite of the limitations, I feel like I did the best job I could.
Yeah, and bless your heart, you have a gratuitous shower scene in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh, and Sorority Babes 2?
Yes.
Yes, well, that's what they wanted. In fact, as a director, none of the guys really wanted to shoot the 2 shower scenes and a love scene. So they're like, oh, let's get a woman director to do this, because it was right during the Me Too movement and stuff. So on the very first day of shooting, we got the 2 shower scenes and the love scene out of the way, because sometimes actors will say they'll do nudity, but then when it comes at the end of the shoot and they've got so much time on camera already, they don't want to do the nudity.
Over the years, you have probably traveled around the world 9 times to festivals and conventions, and as a money raiser and as a collaborator with everybody in the business, always have a project going on, always moving forward, and I really admire that. I really admire that you always have something going on. But right now, we're going to watch a movie that you wrote and starred in called Teenage Exorcist. Now, how did this project come about, and who is Grant Austin Waldman? Because I'm not familiar with his work.
Fred Olen Ray had a one-sheet, a poster flyer for Teenage Exorcist that he was trying to pre-sell at the AFM. And his wife at the time, Dawn Wildsmith, was on the cover. So Fred said, do you want to be in this movie? I'll put your name on the flyer, it'll add some weight to it. So they didn't apparently get any financing, and I said, are you going to shoot this movie? And he said, well, to be honest, we don't have a script. I was just trying to raise the money, and then I'd have the script written. And I said, well, can I write it? Because my role was hanging on having a script. So he said, okay, so I wrote the script. And then Grant Austin Waldman was working in Hollywood at the time, and he had rented a whole bunch of camera equipment and a location, and he was going to shoot on Monday, and it was like a Friday, and he lost something. I think he lost his lead actor, couldn't do the movie. So he called Fred up and said, do you have any scripts that I could shoot starting on Monday? Fred sent him over 6 screenplays, and Teenage Exorcist was one of them, and Grant picked that one. And Fred said, well, you know, Brink wrote that role with herself in mind. And Grant's like, nah, I just don't see her playing that. And Fred's like, no, really, you gotta hire Brink for this part. So thankfully it all worked out.
And so he picked, out of the 6, he picked your script.
Yes, and it was gonna shoot Monday. It was